it's still not impossible, is it, by any means?
No. Well, we have seen teams, including Australia today, be fairly circumspect for the first 5 overs, but then they've had a go at the second 5 of the power play. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens here. But their main biffer of the top 3 is, of course, out. Cummins is in, still 3 slips, and a lovely drive from Babar. He does play that shot so well. Wasn't even that full. He saunters through as it goes for 4.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
We had a shot of 3 slightly pudgy looking supermen in the crowd.
Is
it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a pie?
No, it's Fathers for Justice.
Again.
Yes.
What's happened to them recently? You don't hear much of them these days, do you?
No, they've been usurped by even madder people.
I think their whole shtick was the surprise element. So I think they must go underground for a long time.
The cosplay element of it, yes, which was always quite bizarre.
Do you think those 3 men dressed as Superman are Fathers for Justice? It's possible.
They wouldn't look out of place.
We've got more debates.
Halfway up a building.
More debates about Hauptfleisch here.
Stark's going to come in first, excuse me, and that's covered up and there'll be no run, so continue.
Felix Stock said I would translate Hauptfleisch as head meat. But Clovis the Apostate says, from studying World War I in school, I remember Hauptmann was German for captain, so head man would fit. Either way, it's a very masculine surname, isn't it? Head meat man.
Head meat man.
Anyway, you're very welcome.
Nominative
from
determinism doesn't always apply. And maybe our original tweeter, was it Mark Hauptfleisch, was it? Who was the tweeter with that name? What was his first name? Morgan Hauptfleisch. Again, perhaps he is a vegan, who knows, despite his name. Stark comes in, flashes one past the outside edge of Imam, who's still on 5 off 19. He's hit that one pull shot. He can be a little bit slow to get going. And that 150 scored in the warm-up series was very much out of character.
Yeah, we had a few of these in these early stages.
You'll love the jackpot. You'll love the juicy way to jab those healthy clothes.
I haven't heard that one before.
I haven't heard that one before.
Is that someone who became a famous singer, as often is in his little advert stings?
I don't know.
I've no idea.
Sounds like an ad from about 1957.
Yeah, I was going to say, how old is that advert?
Marsh and Smith in the slips eyeing this one up. A Stark comes in and there's a big flash and it's gone straight over Alex Carey's head. You can't put a fielder there apparently, and so it's 4 runs. Certainly a bit more intent from Imam, but really not the most convincing shot.
Haven't seen it yet in the World Cup. Someone at backstop.
No, I did see it once or twice in the IPL. They would put someone very, very, very fine.
I mean, if the ball keeps going there, then why not?
Why can't you put a fielder there? Exactly. The only place you can't put a fielder is in front of the sight screen or on the wicket. Stark comes in again. Fuller ball, and it's clipped through the leg side. Another nice shot, and that's going to race away to the boundary for consecutive 4s.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
And that's livening up the Pakistan fans.
Slowly cranking it up with a couple of 4s here.
Yep.
You can't put a fielder on the wicket or over it. So
that's what I meant, straight behind the bowler's arm. Yeah.
No, but I mean, if someone's finger is hanging over the pitch, that's a no ball.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can't have anything over the line of the pitch.
Someone's beer gut is
That's a no ball. It's a no ball. And would be a free hit.
The more you know. Stark comes in again. And that's a length ball, which after hitting 2 4s, Imam is able to let go. 26 for 1.
Evil Scooters here. Perhaps I'll continue this after the last ball, but it says the last World Cup they tried to put together a batsman's individual weak and strong zones. Funnily, every batsman struggled to length balls just outside
top of off, yeah, exactly.
So Fakhar's managed to sight everybody else, is what we're saying from that.
A coach, I've had many coaches. The problem with having different coaches is me, not the coaches. One of them played for Derbyshire for a while. I'll come on to this after this ball. Stark, we can see him on we can see his tracker zooming in like Alien, and that's flipped down the leg side by Imam. A leg glance, going to be another 4. Keeper doesn't even bother to chase. Riz is happy. Everyone's happy in a green shirt. It's 31.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
So Derbyshire, ex-Derbyshire.
Yes. So they're playing. They're in a team meeting before this game, and the coach is going through the different plans for each different batsman. And Dominic Cork stands up, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He says, "This is all rubbish." He just goes, "Him top of off, him top of off, him top of off." And
Did it work?
Well, my coach was of the opinion that he wasn't wrong. He's also of the opinion that Dominic Cork was incredibly annoying. But that's not news.
Yeah, very much in the majority of many.
Talking of trackers, in the last ball, we've got Raz Mohammed on Cricket Tracker. I love you, Pakistan. Hassan Mabassi says, love you, Imran Khan.
Here comes Cummins. Only 2 slips now, and that's covered up for no run.
Zahur Amela says, Pakistan 150-20. I think that means 150 off the first 20.
Does he mean 150 all out in 20?
Ooh. Hope not. I think 150 after 20 is what he's getting at there.
Well, they'd need to go a bit, because that's 120 off 14.
They would. Fakazman is a bit of a mystery. I know he's gone, so we should probably stop talking about him. But
and not speak ill of the departed.
That Champions Trophy, he was in fantastic form.
But you've got to remember, it's only 5 games. It's such a small sample size. You know, a bit of form. Couple, you know, he blazed away in that final. Wasn't he out of a no ball or something? Cummins is in. I'm sure Nakul could tell us. Lovely shot by Babar. Past mid-off's left hand, but he barely moved, and that's another 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, that is Babar's shot, but they are feeding it at the moment, aren't they?
They are a little bit.
Right in his zone.
They're still overdoing the slips a little bit, leaving a pretty big gap at extra cover.
Still glorious to watch, though.
Lovely shot.
No one plays it better than him.
Straight out the text.
But often when you've got a big gap to hit it into, it means you don't try to hit it too hard, and then it just comes out looking so good.
Yeah.
And ironically goes as fast as if you tried to smash it. That one's dropped down to backward point. There's no run. 34 for 1.
Kane Williamson is particularly good at not over-hitting the ball as well.
Yes.
I mean, he's got so much time at the crease, but he never tries to slash at it too hard, and he always just guides it where he wants.
See, yeah, Babar really excites me to watch because he plays those shots that are textbook and flowing and very correct. Williamson doesn't excite me as a batsman. I admire what he does. I appreciate what he does.
Lots of caveats in case Jane with the Y is listening.
Yeah, but I'm sure Jane would understand what I'm saying.
I got in trouble with her last week.
Yeah, it's easily done. Back to backward point, there's no run.
I played one of the naughty jingles when he was out.
Yeah, I know.
By accident, and then...
Just skate over that.
Then I was caught eating. Didn't like that either.
Oh, go to the back of the class.
It was a double-dayer. We'd been here 11 hours.
Anyway.
I apologise for the naughty jingle, Jane.
Let's not rake over old coals or whatever.
Is
expression
is Morgan Hauptfleisch's surname Old Coals yet? He's saying, a vegan, I eat 1 cow a week.
Okay, fair enough. Then nominative determinism is playing out for you.
Alive and well.
Yes.
Moo.
Still a big gap at cover. Cummins is in. That one's played back to the bowler for no run.
Vegan Hauptfleisch would be an oxymoronic name, wouldn't it?
Well, that's what I was kind of saying. Yeah.
He also says, always thought Watto should have had my surname, and laughs. I don't quite...
Again, you'll have to tell us what your surname means, and then maybe we'll be in on the joke.
I think we've worked out roughly what it means. But,
so it means
main meat.
Stick your pad in front of the stump.
Main meat.
Be frightened by Wahab Riaz.
Head meat man. I think he's saying he's not particularly bright, Watto. I think that if I've interpreted that correctly.
You may have done.
Do tell me if I've interpreted it
incorrectly. It's another mystery solved.
Yeah.
Cummins is in, onto leg stump, played up to mid-on, and there's no run. That's the end of the over. Have we ever heard Shane Watson on commentary? We've heard everybody else from that Aussie team. I know he's still playing T20s.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a rare one who doesn't seem to have gone down the commentary road.
Have they ever had him mic'd up on the pitch?
Probably during IPL, yeah.
Do you think that means he's going into coaching then? I know he's still playing, but he's not going down the commentary route. Those are the two main routes, aren't they?
It is possible to actually leave cricket behind and do something else.
I've heard he's going to be the next Secretary General of the United Nations.
Probably do a good job.
That's another mystery not solved from Grubby.
Fake news.
34 for 1, Pakistan for 7 overs. As I say, they are accelerating a bit after a slow first 5. Trying to get a foothold in this innings. Imam 17 and Babar 16 after Fakhar Zaman was dismissed for naught.
Yeah, and you just get the impression that... I do actually think they started off very well, Stark and Cummins, but they've been a bit looser recently.
Change the bowling now. A little bit slower, a little edge, and it's because of that slowness that it hasn't quite carried to Steve Smith at second slip.
And this is the new bowler.
72% of TV viewers said he had the best beard in the IPL. Kane Richardson.
That's all factually correct, I believe. And he was drafted into this squad when Jai Richardson had to pull out with his injury, wasn't he?
Under the little-known Richardson rule. And he did pick that up cleanly, Steve Smith, but it bounced a foot or two in front of him. Richardson over the wicket to the left-hander, and again noticeably slower. That one's clipped down past the umpire to deep square. There'll be one.
Does that mean they could have had Richardson?
Other Richardsons are not available. Terms and conditions apply.
No.
On a serious note, we were discussing the injury rule for replacing a player. Knackle and I were discussing it.
Escape to victory rules.
Well, we were wondering, does it have to be a like-for-like swap? And he thought,
I shouldn't think it does.
He thought not
no.
really, and I thought yes.
No, well, how would you enforce that?
It would be a really difficult one to enforce, wouldn't it?
But the ICC already have to approve the injury, so that you can't.
They might have to approve the injury, but
somebody.
surely they can't dictate the type of player that you can draft in. Surely not.
I think
no,
they can.
well, they had that situation with the Netherlands in a tournament not that long ago. That one's flicked past a fine leg in a rather ugly fashion, but it's beaten him and it's gone for 4. You mentioned the Supremes earlier on, but maybe I was kind of reminded of that from that jingle, so it can be a circular thing.
Yeah.
Babar rather took his hand off the bat and kind of scooped it round, but fine leg was up, and that's what got him the 4.
Yeah, it was a poor delivery, really, given the field, isn't it?
Yes, Richardson in to make amends, and that's better. Shortish, outside off stump. Played to Maxwell at point, and there's no run.
Just feel more confident when Babar's at the wicket, more confident that he's going to just stay there and make a score. I think he's by far their best batsman.
Yes, he's in that number 3 mould of Joe Root and Kane Williamson, where they're going to score at a run a ball, and the rest of the team's going to play around them.
I just feel he's more stylish than those players, and I include Root in that as well, actually. I mean, again,
you'll definitely have Jane onto you if you're saying he's more stylish than Williamson.
But he is.
Yeah, fair enough. Pull shot by Imam Babar, but Khawaja is out at deep square, and there's only one.
I mean, his numbers compare as well. Averages 51 and 56 against Australia.
His white ball statistics are incredible, and I think his test statistics are gradually starting to bridge that gap. For a while, it was a huge discrepancy.
Do you think he can make that big 4 a big 5?
Can he make that big 4 a big 5? What do you mean?
Root, Williamson, Kohli,
I see what you mean.
Smith. Yeah.
He is a cousin.
He's got all the minerals to do that, yes.
Another short ball, but again a little bit slower, and Imam rather pulled out of the shot, I think. Anyway, the upshot is through to keeper for no run. 40 for 1 off 8 overs.
Just saying, he is a cousin of the Aknals, remember? So,
well, there we are then.
Well, it can't be helped.
Actually, Umar Akmal.
Choose your friends, not your family.
was an extremely talented batsman, I thought. Umar Akmal.
Yes.
I've met Cameron Akmal. I may have mentioned this. At
a
third 11 game I was playing 2 seasons ago, towards the end. He just rocks up. This is when Pakistan were here in the Champions Trophy season, and they played some tests as well, didn't they?
Was Riz there as well?
No, Riz was playing for the second team. We were in the third team. He would have been. And Cameron Akmal rocked up because he was friends with one of our precocious 15-year-old Pakistani batsmen's fathers. Although everyone involved with that young man had a far higher opinion of his batting than I did.
Nice fella.
Cameron, said hello, perfectly friendly, Another change of bowling. It's going to be the 4th man of this all-seam attack. And that's a little bit of an outside edge from Babar down to 3rd man. It's this man.
Nathan Coulter Nile.
Man of the match against the West Indies, though more for his batting than his bowling. At 92 off 60 balls, dug Australia out of a very big hole.
I think this is a bit of a Keaton Jennings job here. Would Coulter Nile be playing today had Stoinis not been injured?
Well, he was in the previous 2 games. I think they'd have stuck with more or less the same side. I say it just looks a bit weirdly unbalanced, fitting Khawaja and Marsh into the same side. That one's flicked down the leg side. It's going to be an easy 4, and I think he's got some glove on that. Imam? 4 either way.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, I think that's leg buys. I thought he got something on that. Doesn't matter. Unless Imam's out on 96, and then he'll be annoyed. Maybe his arm guard.
Evil Scooters here. By the way, have Afghanistan announced an injury replacement for the apparently injured Mohammad Shahzad?
Well, he's claiming he's not injured. That's the thing. It was all very unprofessional.
It's a grand mess.
It is. Coulter Nile's going to come in again. And also short, but a good line, top of off stump, there's no run. Yes, he's saying he's not injured, and that he was told by someone else he was injured. It's a bit crap.
Yeah, and selectors being replaced, and it's just terrible, really. You kind of don't want to be patronising. You want to see the likes of Afghanistan, bringing something and developing and whatever, and just have this rank amateurism.
Yes.
Is not edifying in any way and not good for the game.
Unfortunately, no. We'll see if they can resolve that. Anyway, Colton Isles in again. Another ball top of off stump, and that's played down for no run. They've also, I've got to say, not shaped up particularly well in their first 3 games so far. We were hoping for more, put it that way.
Yes, indeed.
They'll be playing England next week, and we'll both be here, won't we, Paul?
No, because
I'm replacing you, aren't I?
That's right. Yeah. Hence my plea yesterday. Andy's very kindly sprung into it.
I'll be here on Tuesday with an all-star lineup.
I'll be at Royal Ascot.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Don't lose too much. Gamble responsibly.
Thank you very much. I shall do.
No, you won't. Colton Niles in, full of ball that time. A little bit of in-swing, played up to mid-on, and there's no run.
It's got going a bit this innings, isn't it? 45 for 1 in the 9th over. Started off in pretty stodgy fashion, but going along a fair old clip now.
Yeah, that over from Cummins, I think, really got them over. No, was it Stark?
Stark he was a bit unlucky with one that edged over the top. Then he bowled a leg stump half volley, I think, didn't he? And it just seemed to kick him into gear.
Yeah, it's often the way. Babar on 22 off 21, Imam catching up on 18 off 30, and he's jabbed that one down to third man, and that'll be an easy single. That's the end of the over. It's 46 for 1 off 9.
Bertus de Jong here on Twitter, theory about Mohammad Shahzad, which is he's pretty sure Ikram Ali Kil wasn't in the original squad, or else I'd have to do 500 words on him for First Post Sports. So him, presumably. I'm not sure if he was in the original squad.
He's the replacement.
He's the replacement, is he?
He's a very
is
18-year-old
keeper. Is that official
19.
then?
And that would be a like for like, but perhaps it's different when your keeper goes down.
I see no reason. I'm sure it's not in the rules that it has to be like for like, because it would be quite hard to enforce, really.
And I'm trying to think, if it wasn't like for like, could you game the system? Could you bring in an extra batsman?
The Netherlands certainly did on that occasion. Top of off stump from Richardson, played back to the bowl for no one. If anyone's not familiar with that, there was a tournament, I honestly can't remember if it was a World Cup or a lesser tournament, where someone became available. I think it was it might have been Tenduscarter. They thought wasn't available. He became available. They told one of their players to say he was ill, so they could bring.
That's what I mean.
Bring this better player into the squad. He did get found out and put on the naughty step. A little bit of movement there from Richardson. Imam very watchful. May have played at it, but no contact.
But that's less about the luck.
Very appealing, Max Jaffa.
That's the Bonzo Dog Doodah man.
It is. It says Bonzo on it, yeah.
Yeah.
As in Urban Spaceman? They did that, didn't they?
Adolf Hitler on vibraphone.
No, Adolf Hitler was on Vibes.
On Vibes.
Yes.
You do know the song.
Richardson is in. Short again, jabbed away down to third man again. There'll be another single. Fielder Colton Isle runs around the ball in a rather comical style.
Yeah, it always looks quite funny when tall, fast bowlers approach a ball, realise they're going in the wrong direction, and then sort of trot round it with very small steps, and that's what happened there.
Yeah, and the other reference I made to deliberate injuries was, of course, Escape to Victory. When to get Sylvester Stallone in goal, they had to deliberately break the arm of the Ipswich goalkeeper.
He wasn't, in real life he wasn't a goalkeeper, he was a winger, so I'll give you a moment to think about who that might be, everyone out there.
Richardson in, a bit of in-swing there, and very nearly played on. There's no run. We're going to have a change, 2 balls from now. It's 47 for 1. It's going to be Knackle. It's going to be... Looks around the door. There's somebody
Tony
at the door.
B.
Tony.
And Arthur Scher is coming back in. I'll give him his jingle to do the changeover. I'll tell you before I leave then, because I can't be bothered to wait for anyone to tweet in. It was Kevin O'Callaghan.
Oh, it was, yes.
Make it a clean break, he said.
Make it a clean break, Skip.
Heartbreaking
Michael
stuff.
Caine did the business. Richardson in again. And he's finding a good spot to bowl, back of a length. That was played down to Gully for no run.
Yeah, you don't want to be bowling full outside the off stump. I think Bubba has already demonstrated why.
That, yeah.
So slightly back of a length is probably good for him.
Richardson bowled 1.5 overs for 7. Pakistan are going to be 47 for 1 plus whatever they do off this ball. Now, I know not everyone is a fan of this, but who do you think's won this phase?
I think it's pretty even, Andy. I think they need just a a bit over 6 and over from here, and that's a good even game.
1 wicket down, but that's flicked away for 4. That might change things. Past Colton Isle, down for 4 it goes.
1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4, up. 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
It's 51 for 1 off the first 10, and we will have a change.
We'll have Tony Bishop, Nakul Pandey, and this fella.
From the home of Worcester Cathedral, setting emerald isles on fire, all strides a powerful cathedral, and the name is Arthur Shah.
Loving that.
And
jingle.
Richardson it is, and I am. We've just been changing around. Curiously enough, they've trusted me to do both commentary and jingles, so goodness knows what might happen. Nestle stood in front of me. He's right in front of Nakul, which is causing various problems. We're into the second power play. Imam ul Haq will be facing. It's going to be Nathan Coulter-Nile. And Coulter-Nile is in, and onto the back foot goes Imam ul Haq. Just pushes it away into the offside. They take a quick single. 52 for 1. Welcome back to Arthurshire.
Thank you.
That's a great pleasure. And the ever-present bastion, that is the man himself, Nakul Pandey, will be on your tweets.
How you doing, Tony? And we've got one which is upbraiding us a little from Jay Grover. I discard you for not reading out tweets. I don't care. I have a new fridge and Maltinas. Screw thou all.
And Coulter-Nile's in again, and this one is let go straight into the gloves of Alex Carey. Barbara Azam wanted nothing to do with that. He's going along quite nicely, 26 off his 25. I'd be curious to ask you both about the Australian innings, Arthurshire, perhaps you first. It just seemed to subside, didn't it, after a great start?
It went very limp.
Very limp, that's a very good, concise description. Yeah, it was 82 for Finch, 107 for Warner. And once Smith was out, there really wasn't much else, was there? Very disappointing, as in comes Coulter-Nile, very solidly forward, punched back down the ground, just to the right of the umpire. That's going to go all the way into the fence for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4, up. 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
And I have secretly just passed my first test of saying one of these and not looking to my right, because there's no one there, and realising how to actually do it myself.
What a glorious shot that was from Babar Azam.
Wasn't it just? Absolutely gorgeous. Minimum, absolute economy of effort. That was the beauty of it. Just let the ball come onto the bat, just a little gentle punch, and away it went.
He's a treat to
for
watch.
4 more. 56 for 1. Coulter-Nile's gone for 5 off his first 3 balls. He's in again. And a very high armed leave as Barbara Azam raised the bat well above that, and it's through to Alex Carey.
A treat the Taunton fans will be seeing quite a bit of, because of course he's signed for Somerset in the Blast this year.
Has he, by Jove? Oh well, then he'll be getting a good look at what it's going to be like to play limited overs cricket on at Taunton.
Quite nice, I think, is the answer.
Well, I hope he gets better weather than we're seeing today. I'll describe that a little bit more in a moment. As Coulter-Nile's right arm over and in. This is hooked and it's top edged. Is there a man down there? There is. It's taken. Coulter-Nile has his second wicket. Barbara Azam has gone. He's caught down there at long leg. And, well, he got a top edge. He didn't. It seemed to be a hook shot that he didn't really fully commit to. And up it went. High. Down it came. We'll tell you who took it in a minute.
Kane Richardson down there at long leg.
Kane Richardson. And, well, I think that was a pretty daft shot, to be honest. Richardson just pouched it as solid as you like, and Barbara Azam has gone.
And you've got a jingle to play. Very good.
Boy, what on earth were you playing at?
Well, what he was playing at was looking for a 6 over long leg.
To be fair, it was there to be hit. It wasn't a great delivery at all from Nathan Coulter-Nile, and I think Barbara just didn't hit it very well.
No, well, like I say, somehow it didn't seem full-blooded enough. He seemed to sort of go through the motions of the hook and not really give it enough.
I think what he was hoping to do was get it slightly wide of the fielder and just help it on its way, probably for 6, given how short a straight boundary it is, but just completely failed to miss the fielder.
Failed to miss the fielder? Well, yes, he did.
I wonder if 308 isn't a better score than we gave Australia credit for.
Well, and do you know what? we've referred to it a few times. In the first game at England, when England played South Africa at the Oval, and England, I think, made 311 in the end, and all the muttering around the ground was, they've left 20 or 30 out there, and it proved to be more than enough.
I mean, both of those were probably true. They probably did leave 20 or 30 out there, and it turned out to be enough. I think the sort of underwhelming end to the innings for Australia has slightly coloured things. I still think it's a decent chase and should be a decent game.
Well, the new man to the crease will be none other than this man, Mohammed Hafiz.
Your attention, please, for Mohammed Hafiz, consolidator or aggressor, great in a one-day, utility player, and always called the professor.
I think
fresh off a man of the match
wickets.
Yeah, fresh off a man of the match performance against England with bat and ball.
Indeed, 38-year-old right-hander. And at least 211 innings in ODIs. Got a strike rate of just over 76, about 76.5. Average is 33. So if he can pretty much keep that going, he'll get Pakistan a long way to where they need to be. Coulter-Nile is in, and he makes Hafiz hop a little bit. He's taken middle and leg guard, and he was up onto his back leg and played it with soft hands down into sort of to gully, and there was no run. But a good ball, a good so a wicket and a dot to close that Coulter-Nile over. He's having a decent time of life. 96, of course, and then 1 for 7 now.
I mean,
going well.
Sort of. I mean, he's only taken 2 wickets in the tournament thus far, and he's averaging. What is he averaging? About 170. Yeah, he's averaging sort of 80 odd or something like that with the ball.
Yeah, so he's not prolific, but.
Wickets that matter.
It's
though.
Wickets that matter, and
he's only taken 2 of them.
Yes, but they've been important ones.
Yeah,
he cleaning up a tail.
Yes, that's true. Although that can be important itself. On Cricket Tracker, Sangadesh Khan says, Inshallah, Pakistan win. Shobit Negi says, nice. Rupesh says, Australia will win the match today. Zahur Mullah says, Pakistan will be bowled out for 150.
And we have Glenn Maxwell on for the first time, and he's into Imam ul Haq. Imam ul Haq just guides this down to backward point, and there is no run. We will jingle up the bowler in just a moment. In fact, we can probably do it now.
If I had $1 million, I'd buy you a Glenn Maxwell, then we are no longer friends.
Indeed, Maxwell is bowling from the river end, and he's bowling to Mohammed Hafiz, who's faced just 1 ball so far. New to the crease because of Babar Azam being dismissed in the last over from Coulter-Nile. This is worked away nicely by Hafiz down to square leg. They will take an easy single, and it will move Pakistan on to 58 for 2 in their bid to hunt down a target of 308.
Yeah, it's not as difficult as it might be because Maxwell is the 5th bowler.
Well, he is. And maybe they're thinking now, when a couple of wickets gone, is the time to give him a little run out. This is pushed away to cover, and again there is no run.
Yeah,
so far it's proving to be not an unsuccessful move, not for 2 off 3.
I think that's right, rather than him coming on when we've got 2 players very well set.
He's a right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Imam ul Haq. Imam ul Haq just pushes this out to point, and again there's no run. Aaron Finch, I think, the man there, was sort of backward point really. In fact, it's a very short backward point.
Yeah.
So it's almost a sort of a deep, you could almost describe it as a deep gully. In comes Maxwell again. That's rather edgily cut away. There is a man down there. It's Coulter-Nile on the cover boundary. So again, it will limit them to a single.
I think Imam was in more control of that than you gave him credit for.
Maybe. It was just a little uppish.
Yeah, I mean, there's a gap there, so he used his hands to make sure he got it through the gap.
He did.
Both of these two need to build, though. They're not going to go for anything crazy right away, so it's quite a good time.
No, I think that's absolutely right. Maxwell is round the wicket to the right-hander. This one is pulled away by Hafiz. Maxwell dropped it a little bit short, but it was down to backward square, and Usman Khawaja was the man who was down there at backward square, deep backward square. It's the end of the Maxwell over. He's gone for just 4 off the over. 60 for 2 are Pakistan. Honours pretty even, I think, so far. It'll be just interesting to see it, because what Australia failed to do having built that incredible platform, they then just their momentum left them, as well as the ability to actually make runs. So
it looked as though once Maxwell got out, they didn't really have a clue what the plan was from there.
That's true. They did look. It just looked like everything was. Well, they just didn't seem in control of their destiny in any way, shape, or form. Did they? With the bat?
On Crick Tracker, Elzina Maria Landau says, "Hello guys, how are you? Hello again from the Netherlands. Love you guys." Hasima Basi says, "Love you, Imran Khan," which is either a throwback or a political statement.
Coulton Isle was just in. Pushed away to mid-on, there was no run.
And Aryan Ali Arvi says, Australia lose, Pakistan win. Well, for one to happen, the other has to happen. So,
that is true. That is true.
Could be a tie.
For the one to happen. If that happens, then neither of those things will have happened.
I don't think either of these two have played each other. Well, certainly neither of these two have played at Taunton before, to the best of my knowledge. Certainly not in an ODI. That's wide and sort of swung a little bit further wide, and Hafiz was reaching for it outside of his off stump. It was through to Carey. He was looking to cut it away. Of course, you can't really see his Dick Dastardly moustache, can you, once he's under the helmet and grill, which would be a brilliant name for a pub.
It's a bit late on that, wasn't he?
He was a little bit late on it, but I think it did swing away. Perhaps it just had that little bit of extra pace from Coulton Isle. He was certainly reaching for it, was Hafiz. Coulton Isle is going to be right arm over and in again, and this one, Hafiz is onto the back foot, drops the bat on it. And there is no run. 60-2. And 23 for Imam, 2 for Hafiz. And during this little spell of 10 overs, our Gorilla Experience guest, Arthur Shear himself, will be taking over a little bit of ball by ball. So we nominate an over. We're not going to tell everyone when it's going to be, just in case we change our mind. But I'm sure he's loose and ready to go for that. And that climbed just a little bit on Hafiz, and he was hurried into just pushing it away into backward square. They take a single, but not the best control stroke. This is a good little spell for Australia because they're keeping the run rate down. They've taken a couple of wickets.
Yeah, and dismissed a guy in Babar Azam who can score hundreds.
And as Knuckle rightly said, one of the biggest potential threats is now back in, what we could call the pavilion, but Taunton is basically a collection of pavilions. I don't know, for those who haven't been there, it's a beautiful ground, but it's rather strung together. That one is carved away. Backward a point. There is a man down there. They will take a single. They'll come back for... Did they come back for two, Arthur?
Just the single.
They did. They decided to wait for the single. And I think the speed with which it went down there is probably about the right sort of choice.
They're not particularly long boundaries straight, and particularly behind the batsman, so there wasn't a lot of mileage in getting the two in, despite the over-exuberant throw from Kane Richardson.
They're not yet in a position where they would need to take risks. But they don't, at the same time, they don't want to get bogged down. And in comes Coulton Isle. That beats the outside edge of Mohammed Hafiz's bat. And he does a little jump to himself afterwards to think how might he have played that a little bit better.
Because Australia fizzled out, it's not much more than a run of ball they need.
Well, no. So you're absolutely right. So you think it may not necessarily be the most exciting of chases because it doesn't need to be. If they keep that scoreboard ticking and keep wickets in hand, you would now, I rather think, favour Pakistan. But Australia have crucially taken two wickets.
Yeah, the change bowlers have been very good. I think Kane Richardson bowled a decent spell. Coulton Isle's bowled as well as he's done in the tournament so
Glenn
far.
Maxwell again, he drags that down a little bit. It's worked off his legs by Imam Haq to deep square. They will take a single and nothing more. The ball is thrown very accurately into the gloves of Carey.
I think Coulton Isle benefits from being
his mark.
Underestimated, and eventually he'll be overestimated and then won't be as effective. But at the moment, he's not.
Maxwell is over the wicket to the right-handed Hafiz. This is cut away to deep backward point, and again it's a single. Flag we can see is flying very proudly on the church tower. The church tower that dominates the skyline at the pavilion end at Taunton. And it's a beautiful ground to go to. As this one forward comes Imam Haq just away to point, and again there's no run this time. 64 for 2. Maxwell wheels in. Imam Haq drops the ball on this. They do take a quick single. They had to hurry. The bail did come off, but Hafiz was very well very comfortably home indeed.
We have a question for you, Arthur, in your VIP capacity.
VIP capacity.
Rovinari says, my big dilemma, postprandial sweet required, but ice cream or chocolate? Help me, Arthur.
There you go, see? You get all kind of asked for all kinds of advice on this show.
I'm not even sure entirely. I'd say chocolate, Ravi. Let's say chocolate.
Good choice. As Maxwell is in, Hafiz is onto the back foot. He went for a single, was sent back by Imam Huq quite determinedly. David Warner, as belligerent as ever, flung in the throw, but he'd made his ground. However, that was maybe suggests a little edginess from Pakistan, wanting to get on with it. Down the track this time. That's going to go over extra cover all the way by Hafiz for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent use of the feet there by Imam Huq. Couple of skips down to meet Maxwell and lopped it over extra cover.
This is why I mentioned Maxwell being the fifth bowler. It's a lot of overs to get out of someone who is a decent part-time bowler, but doesn't bowl 10 overs very often and doesn't offer a lot of variation.
They're going to have to give some to Sean Marsh.
It wouldn't be Sean Marsh, and I think Aaron Finch bowls a little bit, and I haven't seen Steve Smith bowl for a little while. TV umpire says, was just about to send a tweet commentating about how bad Coulter Niall's bowling is. Now he's got a wicket, I'll do nothing but say he's a great bowler, superb, best in the generation.
He's coming right arm around to the left-handed Imam Huq. Imam Huq just works this away down to long leg around the corner. We're having another little look at the replay of the excellent use of the feet by Mohammed Hafiz. Maxwell did just drop it a little bit short, maybe, gave it quite a bit of air, and the lustrously mustachioed Hafiz gave it a hoik over extra with a bit of a flourish thrown in as well. 70 for 2, the target 308. Coulter Niall's in, nicely just steered away to mid-wicket by Hafiz. They've taken one, they will come back for 2. Fielder down there is Patrick Cummings.
Cummings had a long way to go from he's quite square really on that leg side boundary, so and Hafiz playing it quite softly was always going to be able to come back for 2, even though he was basically walking. Sundeep Kapadia on Twitter says, just you wait and see, most of the Pakistan batsmen will be caught on the boundary. It's one of those days.
Ooh, well, I think they've just got to play sensibly. Coulter Niall's in, and sensibly played indeed by Hafiz, who just raises the bat aloft and is happy for that to go through to Alex Carey for no run. 72 for 2.
Matt Ford, in response to something that we were tweeted about, a story about Michael Holding is developing, is that he's been reprimanded by Sunset and Vine, the production company who are doing these the ICC official feed, for criticising the umpires. Matt Ford says, I love Holding's "oh, you want a piece of me" response. 0 F's given, good for him and good for cricket.
Is that what he says?
Not in so many words.
I was about to say that's not really his style to speak like that. And that is steered away down to Mitchell Stark, who's there at third man by Hafiz. He'll get himself a single. Imam Huq will be back onto strike.
Michael Holding is a man. He can be a man of strong opinions, and it doesn't hold back from expressing them.
No, I don't think he does. But neither does he strike me as a man who would launch into 4-letter words on Twitter. But I agree, he's a man of strong opinions, but he's also quite eloquent in the way he presents them most of the time, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, Eric Peterson has a tweet about that, which I'll read after this delivery.
Coulter Niall's again round the wicket to the left-handed Imam. This is beautifully steered away to cover, but there is a man down there. It is Patrick Cummings, and there will be just a single. Well, the throw goes over Alex Carey, but Sean Marsh was ensuring that he was backing up, something that Pakistan didn't always do with the greatest of success.
There's a couple of notable occasions.
Yeah.
Eric Peterson says, if there's anything we've learned over the years, it's that Michael Holding is definitely someone who backs down from a fight, and you should absolutely start one with him. Well, quite. Matt Ford says, not so much whispering death these days, more like spewing venom.
Oh, well, gosh, that's harsh. This is the last over the last ball of the over from Coulter Niall, and that one reared like a kicking horse. What a good delivery that was. And that was Imam. Well, he just about withdrew the bat from that, and it was taken shoulder height by Carey, just spat up short of a length. So there does seem to be some life in this, particularly for the quicker bowlers. And 74 for 2 Pakistan have moved on to. They need 234 They're currently going at around about 4.5 and over, I think. They need to up that to about 6, nearer 6.5, or just around 6.69.
Yeah, Imam's playing a very Imam innings. He's playing very nicely, but isn't scoring it particularly quickly.
Well,
but if he's still
Maxwell
there at the end,
from the pavilion end, forward comes Imam, pushed away to cover. There's no run.
Sorry, Martha, she was saying.
well, if he's still there at the end, he'll be 100 and odd not out, and they'll probably chase it
And
down.
that should be enough. I think that's right.
Yeah.
He's looking to be the rock that the others play around, isn't he? And he's forward again as if to prove that point. They're just pushing this away into the offside, and there's no run.
I mean, his game limits him to basically he has to play that role. And yeah, he got a gorgeous 150 in the series against England, where he did manage to catch up.
In comes Maxwell once again. This is straight to point as Aaron Finchie makes a bit of a bumble and a fumble of picking it up, but not so much that they look to run on it.
It kind of sets the tone for the rest of the 11.
Maxwell in again pushed away into covers. They will take a single. It's past point, and it's going to be going down to the man on the deep cover boundary. So they will take the first run off this over from Maxwell.
So it basically means the rest of the batting order have to score a little bit quicker. Which I think Hafiz is very well capable of. Asif Ali is a big hitter down the order. Shoaib Malik is very experienced. Slightly worry about Sarfraz.
Yes, yeah, he's not. He's become more of a nudge and nurtle merchant than a hitter, isn't he? Maxwell coming over the wicket to the right-handed Hafiz. Hafiz just drops the bat on that. The ball is down to backward point, and there is no run.
It's not a problem at the moment, but 29 off 39 it could become a problem.
Yes. Well, exactly. They need to just keep the scoreboard turning without really having to take unnecessary risks. This is pushed to mid-off. They will take an easy single. Hafiz will keep the strike. That's the end of Maxwell's third over. He's gone for 13 without yet taking a wicket.
And they've got to find a way of scoring quicker against Maxwell. You can't let him get bowl at this kind of pace for his remaining 7 overs or however many he bowls. There was a bit of discussion on Twitter between Subtle Knife, Burgess de Jong and Evil Scooters about the replacement for Mohammad Shahzad. Kankan Ikram Ali Keel was called into the squad for Afghanistan as his replacement and did it in play in Afghanistan's last game against Pakistan. Mir Casey says Australia have played at Taunton before. I watched them in their warm-up game before the 2013 Ashes. That's when my profile pick was taken. And Jay Grover says, I've got some craft supplies left over from my nephew's visit, so I'm making a Prittstick-heavy paper banner to wave at Arthurshires first ball by ball.
Welcome to Arthurshire.
Well timed.
Away you go.
Waiting to see if Coulter-Nile will continue. You will not.
It's a change of bowling.
It's short, and it's a scampered single.
Let's have a look where he is. Who's taken over as who's bowling then? Is it?
It is the other change seamer.
It's Kane Richardson. It's this man.
72% of TV viewers said he had the best beard in the IPL. Kane Richardson.
That's only because Hafiz isn't in the IPL.
That was the IPL 2014 where he won that viewer poll. He's got a nice beard now, but it's nowhere near as... it's not spectacular by any means. Nathan Coulter-Nile and Kane Richardson are both quite handsome.
In again, Richardson. Played into the leg side by Imam. Scampered single, he dives at the end. Don't think he was in real danger.
Imam al-Haq does like a quick single. He is pretty quick off the mark, and he's very, very determined. Imam al-Haq. He plays as though he's got a point to prove.
Remember the spectacular start at Malahide.
How could we forget?
Who did he collide with?
He got sandwiched between Tyrone Kane coming in from square leg and Niall O'Brien, the wicketkeeper, and ended up in a heap. And
that's played away into the offside, through the covers, and all the way for one of these.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4, up. 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
Hafiz moves to 17.
Delightful shot by Mohammad Hafiz. No apparent effort, just lent into it.
But another single off this over, and that'll be what they need. It's really one boundary and over and bits and pieces.
Richardson. Drop down. No run is taken.
Yeah, in a way, the earlier you get your boundary in, the easier you make your life, because if they need about 6.6, I think is what they were looking for, weren't they? if they get it within the first 3, if they get 6 off the first 3, it's almost as though every run's then a bit of a bonus.
For sure, and it transfers the pressure back onto the bowler.
Yep, very much so.
That's an excellent pun on the held up by a man with a chalkboard in the crowd.
And that's played back to Gully by Hafiz, no run, and it was an excellent pun.
So the pun, for those who missed it or who aren't currently watching, is: which father and son played for Pakistan? Javed, me and Dad.
Javed, me and Dad. Very good, very good. There's a great song, Please Mr. Me and Dad.
Meeting Mr. Me and Dad.
Meeting Mr. Me and
Lewis
Dad.
method.
Yeah, Duckworth-Lewis method, yes.
Richardson in now. And that's cut away, beats Gully this time. But it's picked up in the deep, and they just take the 1 run.
Well, that puts them ahead of the rate. Is that the end of that over?
That is the end of the
Very
over.
well
Richardson
done.
Takes his cap.
Your
seamless, my friend.
Ball-by-ball debut, safely executed. You've kept Pakistan ahead of the run rate, or of what they required.
Haven't cost them a wicket.
Haven't cost them a wicket.
Having cursed for Kazaman with the bets.
Or alternatively, Australia brought you on and you failed to get a wicket, depending on your view. Madhusudan Sarkar says hello. Qazi Habib says smiley face emoji.
Hello,
Radha Qasim is calling on the Almighty, says Inshallah Pakistan. When Haider Jalal says, where's Atif Nawaz? Haven't heard from him since the Asia Cup. Is he really that busy with TMS? Lol. Well, yes, that and advertising various features of Vauxhall cars.
But not air conditioning.
No.
Or it kind of is, though, because anyway, we'll move on. Maxwell's right arm over. He's into Hafiz. Hafiz is onto the back foot, carves this away through point. 2 fielders converge, one of whom is Kane Richardson. Alex Carey has to scamper backwards, and it will cost 2 runs. So again, good running between these two. Nothing too spectacular. There haven't been any real attempts to hike the ball high and handsome over the infield. But they haven't really needed to. But they just do need to not let the pressure build. They need to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Maxwell is going to be in again to Hafiz. Hafiz has swept. This one he has gone aerial. Has he got enough? Yes, he has.
Only just.
That's just about got enough. The fielder at deep mid-wicket would have been interested. But it wasn't. It's actually 1 bounce 4 after all that excitement. And I think we'll have a little bit of more.
Jeff Perkins, in response to the photo that we tweeted out of Arthurshire being welcomed by all of us, says that actually looks more like a hostage situation.
Well, it is in a way. We haven't told Arthurshire, but the door is locked. Down the track comes Hafiz again. He's got right underneath that one. This one has gone all the way, absolutely straight over that black side screen, and a lot of just delight amongst the Pakistan crowd. I'm not surprised, because it is one of the...
Yeah, delightful shot by Hafiz, so well balanced, and sent it a fair way back in the end, 85 metres. It bounced off the signage between the first and second tiers of the pavilion.
So Maxwell's gone for 12 off his first 3. He's in again to Hafiz, and Hafiz very sensibly just leans forward, works this to square leg. He's happy with just a single. He knows that 13 from the first 4 balls is double what they actually need to be doing for this over.
And suddenly Hafiz is scoring it better than a runner ball, and all the pressure's suddenly back on Glenn Maxwell.
And the runs are in the bank, which is precisely what they wanted to.
Now Finch wants to keep Maxwell on.
Maxwell's coming around the wicket to the left-hander, Diman, who just pushes this away past the dive of Maxwell. And it'll be worth a single, and it will keep in the strike, actually. So Hafiz will face the... final ball of Maxwell's over.
And because they've only got 4 frontline bowlers, they can't bowl Stark and Cummins as much as they want to, because they know it's going to go deep into the game.
Well, that's right. Maxwell whirls in. Oh, gives this one a little bit of flight this time. And again, they're able to it's worked away to the leg side. They take a single. It's the end of that Maxwell over. We are now going to have a Powerade hydration break, a.k.a. strategic advertising break. Time for some tweets. Time for a catch up with our Crick Tracker friends and some general chat.
We have an excellent tweet from Wombat Catcher. Nerdstat. Pakistan today produced the 30th instance of left-arm bowlers taking 8 or more wickets in an ODI innings, but the first in England, which is excellent. Sundeep Kapadia says, have the ICC done something about the Britfix stumps? Maybe the umpire should carry some WD-40 and spray them every 5 overs. Yes, the stumps of the Bales have behaved themselves today, which is all well and good. Pirate Bardshah says in response to Jeff Perkins about your kidnapping, Arthur, Tweeter waylaid becomes Stockholm. To which Jeff Perkins replies, that will become Sydenhamed. So Sydenham syndrome, Stockholm syndrome, something like that. Ravi Nard says, chocolate it is then. Is 300 grams enough, or am I allowed to top it up with ice cream drizzled with honey and crumbled biscuit?
Oh, go for it. Why wouldn't you?
The great one has spoken. TV Umpire says, Maxwell did bowl 10 overs versus Pakistan in the past, 5th ODI in the UAE only 3 months ago, and finished with respectable figures of 10 overs. No means 1 for 45. Those figures are indeed respectable. And Linux Leah says, I see it is time for really bad cricket jokes. So here goes. Kohli, bowl at the stumps. Sharma, I shan't. Keep them coming. If anyone else has any bad cricket jokes or minor personal dilemmas, please tweet them in with the hashtag AskArthurshire.
I will happily resolve all problems to the best of my ability.
Well, you could be the Claire Rayner of guerrilla cricket, then. And she used to have the problem show on Capital Radio many years ago.
Solving them rather than causing them. I don't pretend to be benevolent in my offers of answers.
Well, no, you just got to be frank and honest. Why has my girlfriend left me? Because you're an ugly fucker. Tell the truth.
So you're chaotic neutral.
Exactly, chaotic neutral agony aunting.
Anyway, I can tell you, because I was just looking it up. The highest run chase Pakistan have ever achieved was 329 for 7. So, I mean, they're not that. They're 20 or so short of that, aren't they? But they're at the top end of run chases. 329 for 7 was the highest they've ever achieved. That was against Bangladesh at the Sher Bangla National Stadium in 2014. So they're at the top end of their mark when it comes to run chases.
Yeah, historically not a good chasing side at all, Pakistan. But that flurry of wickets in the middle and later part of the innings has kept them. They've kept them in the game and kept the interest alive as to a. We have a few comments on our own Facebook live channel at GuerrillaCricket.com.
Okay.
Surya Yadav, Nazir Khan, Syed Patel Biradar, Zulfikar Wasan and Mohammed Masum and a few others. All delighted to have you all with us.
Oh, yeah, welcome indeed. It's going to be Kane Richardson who will continue. He'll be bowling to Imam Ul-Haq. Both batsmen on 31. One, though, has scored at a slightly quicker rate. 51 for Imam Ul-Haq, 31 off 27 for Mohammed Hafiz.
What would you say about
they
Jonathan
need 211 more to win in 32 overs and at about 6.5 an over. Crucially, though, they've got those 8 wickets in hand, and it's really Pakistan's job to not do what Australia did and subside and horribly with those 2 wickets having gone down. Because the crucial difference, I think, is Australia lost their 2 wickets rather later, didn't they? Their opening pair had laid an even bigger foundation before they lost their wickets.
They were 146 for none.
Yeah, well, they were going very, very tidily. It's just that's why it seems so strange that it all just fell apart so spectacularly. Because we were all thinking 340, 350's got to be on the mark. Except for Gary, who at some point pitched in for around 280, and we thought, well, that's really conservative. 97 for 2. A man wearing a headband, although not really a candidate for the Headband of the Tournament award, is Kane Richardson. He's rolling in, he's right arm around the wicket, and it's worked off his legs by Imam Ul-Haq. Backward of square. And they will just take an easy single.
By scoring at this speed, Imam does put himself under pressure, because if he gets out now, he's wasted a lot of balls. If he goes on and makes a big 100...
Yeah, and he puts a lot of pressure on his batting partners, potentially, although Hafiz is rising to the challenge thus far.
Well, he is. I mean, and there does seem to be a sort of a clear game plan between these two. Hafiz it is who's going to be facing Richardson, who's coming right arm over now. This is cut away past point, but there is a man on the deep cover boundary, and they will just take a single. Single, though, of course, is all they really need. They can just look for that one boundary off the over and wrap it with singles. Then they will be going just very nicely indeed. Hafiz did open his shoulders in the last Maxwell over and carved away a couple of 4s and a 6 and was looking in a very aggressive mood. Right arm around the wickets to Imam. Comes Richardson. This is down to third man. And again, it's an easy single. Doesn't seem to be having a problem at all, these two, in just easing and managing the ball around the park just for the singles, do they?
No, there's not a lot of threat really from Kane Richardson. Honestly, not from Coulton Nile either. He was bowling quite well. He was getting the ball to jump off a length, which is his primary weapon. But when you could just play them around a little bit, and you know you haven't got Stark or Cummins to deal with.
In comes Richardson. Onto his toes goes Hafiz, drops this down to square leg. There isn't a man there, so mid-wicket has to run around. And again, it means they can take another easy single.
Kane
so
Richardson,
4 runs off 4 balls.
Yeah, and just all completely risk-free, really. Kane Richardson's in the squad for Jai Richardson, who was injured before the start of the tournament, who is a little bit quicker, actually quite a bit quicker, a genuine quick bowler. Billy Stanlake wasn't in the squad. Josh Hazlewood wasn't.
Was Billy Stanlake out for injury reasons? Or
he's had a bit of injury issues, but he hasn't been considered, I don't think, for the squad.
He brings the benefit of just massive height, and therefore one would assume bounce. This is cut away by Imam ul Haq. I think is it going to go? Oh, well, that's a dodgy old piece of fielding by Cummins down there at deep point. It's a beautiful cut shot. Cummins ran across. It looked for all the world like he would be able to cut it off, and he some more Gary Sprake goalkeeping means it's one of these. Oh dear. Patrick Cummins did dive, and he was looking to sweep the ball back with his hand, and it went over the ball. This one is over the top of the stumps, and it's given us a wide. Ooh. What do you make to that, Arthur Shear? Decent shout.
Cummins' fielding was making the hard bit look easy and the easy bit look hard. The wide, it's wide in one-day cricket,
well,
isn't it?
Imam was looking to. Yeah, we're looking at it again. It was a horrible piece of fielding. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he was looking to pull, wasn't he?
I want to see that side on.
And I'd like to see that side on. In comes Richardson, just lent into by Imam ul Haq away into the covers. They will take a very easy single. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 off the over with the wide. And again, that's just putting runs in the bank for Pakistan.
Australia are going to have to gamble here and bring back Stark or Cummins.
The game plans, here we go, good old Sky. Game plans until the next drinks break. One is target Maxwell.
For Pakistan.
If you're Pakistan. And if you're Australia, it's deploy Stark when Sarfraz comes in.
Deploy the Stark.
Deploy the Stark. Well, first of all, you have to get him in, which means taking a wicket, which, they haven't really said. Very helpfully, they haven't said how they might go about doing that.
Give Steve Smith a bowl.
I'm not quite sure. I wonder who's responsible for putting up these.
Well, I think these are CricViz things that have been generated. There's quite a lot of statistical delving that goes into these things, but I think what we just see as an end result, shorn of context,
which is often a statement of the bleeding obvious in many cases.
I mean, a lot of good cricket plans are.
But that said, Australia appear to have been listening, because wouldn't you know it, it is going to be Mitchell Stark. He's coming right arm over.
Left arm.
To the left arm over, I beg your pardon, to Imam ul Haq. That takes the sort of outside edge and is away down to Usman Khawaja at third man. And it is going to be the new bowler, this man.
He's had no swing! No swing since Cape Town! No swing since Cape Town! No swing since Cape Town!
Stark was curiously defensive and cautious in his attack against India. He wasn't bowling particularly quickly. He didn't bowl many Yorkers.
And he's in again, left arm over the wicket to the right-handed Mohammed Hafiz, who's very tidily in behind it, and there's no run.
I think Stark is a hugely potent attacking weapon, and Australia aren't going to win this game by restricting anything.
No, I think you're right. They do need to take wickets, and they've decided that these two were looking too comfortable. They need to shake things up and do something, and one of the ways you do that is to bring back your gun bowler. He's only bowled 3 overs when he came back. This is his 4th. So he's going to be left arm over, in again. Drops it short. This is pulled away through mid-wicket. They will take 1 They will come back for a second. No, they'll only take one. Well, I'm surprised. I would have thought they'd look for two there. But they decided against that, which again I think sort of rather illustrates the degree of caution with which they're approaching this. No unnecessary risks, feeling they don't need to take those unnecessary risks.
And also, there's a certain amount of not wanting to take a risk against Stark and Cummins.
Well, yeah, perhaps see off what they perceive to be the main danger man and look to hoik Maxwell when they can, because they were certainly enjoying doing that. Stark is at the top of his run. He's in now. This is on the drive from Imam, but it goes straight to mid-off and there's no run.
Got a few tweets. Nigel Burgess says, "Sort your bloody levels out. I turn up the volume to hear you, then you play a jingle that comes out about 1,000,000 decibels and make me shit myself."
That wouldn't be one of Mog's, would it? That was Mog's take on the Beastie Boys.
Poetry on the Michael
swing.
Holding thing. Has the ICC really ordered the commentators to not lambast the weather or the umpires in any way? Is it true? Allegedly so.
Well, I think that's very shabby.
I'm not quite sure the weather.
Commentary should be A, impartial, B, incisive, obviously C, interesting if it can be. This one's down leg from Stark, and I think that will be given as a wide. Gary, who has loomed large into the room, has his wings flapping like a well-fed sparrow up there by the door,
having to take off into the wind.
Yes. And yep, it was indeed a wide, so Gary called it correctly. 110 for 2. Hafiz is on 34. Imam ul-Haq is on 39. We have 2 balls left of this Mitchell-Stark over. Stark is in and drops it short, and Imam ducks out the way, wants absolutely nothing to do with that. So I think you're right, Knuckle. Let's see Stark off. Let's not take the risk against him.
But I think this is better from Mitchell-Stark. He was bowling length. He was bowling like a containing bowler against India, and I think he's better off going bouncer Yorker.
Yeah, which is well, he's got the bouncer in, so let's see what he does with this last ball of his fourth over. It's established a little bit of extra control back for Australia. Just the 3 runs conceded, one of those of course being a wide. In comes Stark, ball of full length, and you called it pretty well, Knuckle. It was very full, and Imam was just forward, able to meet it. So 110 for 2, 20 overs gone. Imam on 39, Hafiz on 34, with a target 308. Pakistan going well, they're controlled. We will have a change, and I will play a little word.
I've got some tweets to
you're going to do that rather than anything else?
Yeah, I'll read some tweets.
For that.
Short-Third Man says, "Dropping a leg spinner is a massive blunder, even if said spinner is Adam Zampa." Ravi Nair says, "Minor personal dilemma for Ask Arthurshire. Now it's clear that Corbyn is determined to facilitate Brexit. Is it okay to milkshake him if he ever sings the Internationale?" Roger Melly says, "Have you ever seen a slow-mo of Billy Sandlake stide on? He's got the weirdest delivery stride in cricket. He hovers at the crease. He doesn't go up. He sort of goes along as though he's a hovercraft crossing the channel or something. It's very odd. But I do like Billy Sandlake." Poetrovert says, "Game plan: give Steve Smith a bowl and also sandpaper." Sandeep Kapadia says, "Notice something disturbing in their body language. This Aussie side, unlike previous sides, doesn't look like they want to win. Is it just me, or?" I'm always a bit wary of body languageology.
Here's Coulter Nile, and he's up to the crease, and this ball goes backward of point, and they're through for a quick single. The zing bails go off, and the stumps light up, and they are very brightly lit up there, which suggests it's very, very dark. Very, very dark out there. I'm joined to my right for the first time today by...
Hello, me.
Not Fred. We've had Fred, and we've had not Fred. Decent throw in from Maxwell there, hit the stumps, but Imam, I think, was doing the running there, and he's well in. It is Imam, who has 39. Pakistan have 111 for 2. I'm going to take slight issue with the comment from the previous team, but I'll come to that in a moment as Coulter now goes round the wicket to the left-handed Imam and goes down leg side. Surely that'll be called wide, even though... Yes. I've often got sympathy with the bowler when the batsman is moving around so much in the crease, but that was a wide any day of the week. Pakistan have Mohammad Amir at number 8, who is probably 1, maybe even 2 notches high there. So I don't think that Australia need to bowl out Pakistan, because I can't see them going at 7 or 8 and over if they're 6 or 7 down, as this ball is just touched into the leg side, and they're looking for 2.
He fell over at the non-strikers.
He did, which suggests again there might just be a little bit of moisture out there still. It's very, very cloudy at Taunton.
Do you want to tweet from
I do want to tweet, yeah.
Clovis the Apostate. At 1 a.m. in Sydney, I have to agree with Nige. Some of Mog's jingles may contain a brown note or 2 at volume. My neighbour is also prone to knocking at my door with a tyre iron if the noise is too loud.
Ooh, tyre iron indeed. Coulter Nile is in to the right-handed Mohammed Hafiz, who defends, and there is no run. Mohammed Hafiz batted absolutely beautifully in the match against England. He's very experienced. He knows his stuff. As we get a picture of a drone near the lights, which are now on.
Jay Grover's going to let loose crazed rabid moles into the drainage system and let the devil take the hindmost.
It's not the first drone on Sky Sports, because Bob Willis still has his own show.
Here's Coulter Nile again, and Mohammed Hafiz goes back to a half volley and just touches it into the offside. Bit of a missed scoring opportunity there, but as Nakul was saying, Pakistan are happy to chug along at 4 or 5 and over, which they can probably do for the next 10.
Leia says, is it okay to call Imran al-Haq knock-off Rohit? Same basic approach without the success, style and hair.
Oh, he doesn't hit anything like the number of 6s that Rohit Sharma hits.
No, but she's talking about the style and hair.
I see. Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. Maybe there's a bit of that. He goes back in the crease, does Mohammed Hafiz, and he can do nothing with this ball. It just drops at his feet. So a couple of dots for Nathan Coulter Nile. A very healthy head of hair on Nathan Coulter Nile, isn't there? Dear me.
The batsman, having dropped the ball down in front of him, allowed the bowler to run all the way up the middle of the pitch, as he's entitled to do, to pick up the ball.
Good point.
Which batsmen should be wary of that sort of thing.
Yes. The middle of the pitch is a fielding area, as well as one that bowlers should avoid getting off the pitch after their delivery stride. Coulter Nile to finish off. Will he get 4 dot balls in a row? He does, by bowling a wide one that Mohammed Hafiz did not move his... Oh, that's a bit harsh. It's been called wide. I think he missed that, Mohammed Hafiz, because he didn't move his feet. Had he moved his feet across to it?
Wide.
So it's the second wide of the over. I think that was a very harsh call.
Jay Grover says, given the amount of wet wipes we get through, he's recommending a plague doctor masks and some personalised nosegays.
Well,
it's a nosegay.
This ball is pushed to the left hand of the man sprawling at backward point, and Imam steals the strike with a single. He moves to 40. Pakistan have 115 for 2. Restoration comedies, I think they have nosegays in restoration comedies.
I don't know exactly what it is, but according to Hendo's tweet, it's been decriminalised in Botswana.
Okay.
So,
Prem Dami's with us. Hi, watching from the pool. Sajid Saeed is with us. Ali Nawaz, Pakistan best team. And Sajid Saeed says, I love Pakistan. Welcome aboard.
Well, someone has to. It's a pretty good game, this, actually. With only 2 wickets down, I'd make it about even money. I think if Pakistan lost another wicket now, Australia would be on top, but it's pretty close.
I think if Pakistan's had another batsman, I'd feel that way, but with Amir at 9, Amir at 8, Wahab at 9, Shaheen at 11, who would be at 10 in that? It would be not quite sure, but they look a batsman light. So I think it is an even game. I'd go with you there, Fred. But Mitchell Starc is in for the 5th of his allotment of 10, allocation of 10, and it's short, and Imam just gets it off a combination of a bit of bat, a bit of glove, goes down to fine leg, and they walk the easiest of singles. Pakistan 116 for 2. Their target 308.
We have a Tiswell's reference. Sorry,
it's all right.
He's had no swing. No swing since Cape Town. No swing since Cape Town. No swing.
And this one's gun barrel straight, and it's defended. No run.
No swing. Sing a song, the Bucket of Water song from Lou Britton-Sack for the Tiswas fans among us.
Yeah, yes. That's
remember
right.
back that far?
John Gorman, Sally James,
Chris Tarrant,
and Bob Carroll Gees.
And
Lenny Henry.
Lenny Henry, yeah.
I think they were all in the line singing the Bucket of Water song.
Cast of thousands.
Yeah. Do you know what Tiswas stood for?
Yes, but I can't remember.
Today is Saturday. Watch and smile. Cut hard by Imam, and he helps himself backward a point to one of these. Now, I saw Imam make 150 odd at Bristol, and I think he's a class act, and we can kind of see why there, because when the 4-ball came, he really put it away. But for the other deliveries, he was happy just to milk the singles. I think he really is a class act in all forms of the game, and nearly got him out there. But it was a Yorker that he defended into the leg side. Pakistan now raised 120. It's an old school way of doing things, but I think he plays each ball on its merits. If it's there to hit, he hits it. If it's there to defend, he defends it. And then he does a little walk, just clears, makes sure his glasses are clean, and faces the next ball. There's a lot of merit, or a lot of good to be said for playing orthodox cricket. He has 44 already, and he faces up. Off 63 balls, he'll want to advance that strike rate. Again, just plays an orthodox stroke, running it off the face down to Coulter Nile at third man, through for a single.
Not wrong with playing like that, Gary.
Well, there isn't if you're chasing 308. I think if you're chasing 358, it's a different matter.
I've got a story that you may have missed the last couple of days. A passenger on a flight from Manchester to Islamabad on PIA was delayed almost 8 hours after a passenger opened an emergency exit thinking it was the bathroom door.
Ooh, don't tell me stuff like that.
They were preparing for takeoff.
Oh, right.
She decided to ignore the seatbelt sign and use the toilet, and she got the wrong door.
Sounds strange combination of circumstances, but there you go. As Stark is in, and this goes high over the head of the batsman, almost over the head of Alex Carey, not called wide. The win predictor, rather in line with us, has Australia just favourites at 52-48, but who would want to make a life-changing decision on 52-48 type difference?
It always amazes me daft things people do on planes. I had an aborted landing at City Airport in December because some prat decided that as the plane was coming to land to get up and go to the cabin above his seat. I mean, what's going through these people's minds?
You want to get out quicker, don't you?
Well, I mean,
well, you City Airport, you're out in 3 minutes anyway.
But what happens then is the stewardess pushes the abort button because you're not allowed to stand while it's landing. Yeah, this thing goes like that.
This story has actually got model numbers of planes and flight numbers, so it has the ring of truth.
Oh, I'm sure it is true.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
One of my managers at work appealed to something being just common sense the other day, and I said, as Coulter Nile comes in, and they steal a single, very Australian-like, to Gary Lyon, who's must be honest 12th man for somebody, but he's at mid-off and he was slightly on his heels, most unlike Lyon, who is usually an excellent fielder, probably one of the reasons why he's on, and they steal a single to him at mid-off.
Lyon sleeps at mid-off.
Yeah, indeed, he does. You
don't win that way, do you?
You don't win that way. You win that way.
Win that way.
So the
I'm watching Nestle's face as he got that.
The guy said to me, "It's just a matter of common sense." And this ball is pulled by Hafiz, goes out to the man sweeping on the leg side boundary.
And you
think
said,
it's Cummins, and it is no one. Well, I didn't say anything because it would have been sort of condescending and patronising and so on.
But
under my breath.
There is no such thing as common sense.
56 years has told me one thing walking this earth. There is no such thing as common sense. There really isn't.
One person's common sense is another person's...
I think you
poison.
Have to do an aptitude test before you walk through an airport's doors myself.
Coulter Nile is in, and he just sits on that, if you imagine him sitting on that, does Imam, and runs it off the face down to third man. The camera's picking out Stephen Smith, who spits for our pleasure. It does seem strange that Stephen Smith isn't the captain of this side. Is it just me, or...?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I know it's Aaron Finch, and I like Aaron Finch very much, but surely Stephen Smith should be captain on the side.
Messi Jez has a question for Arthur Shearer. I'll tell you after this ball.
Coulter Nile is in. This one keeps a little low, but that's Mohamed Hafiz's technique getting him out of trouble there, because he does go back and play late, and he watched that one onto the bat. There is no run. It's the end. Oh, no, it's not. It's 22.4 overs gone, but the tweet.
Messi Jez says, Dear Uncle Arthur, as I've been living out of a suitcase for the last fortnight, can you advise me whether the crumpled style of all my clothes will fit in with the fashion choices of the gorillas in residence? Worried of Perth. I don't think you have to worry too much about fashion.
No, I'm wearing Christian Dior.
This ball, again, that's a good shot from Mohamed Hafiz, because he went back in the crease and it was kind of risk-free because there was almost no swing of the bat. He watched it all the way onto it. Just a slight flick of the wrist got it to the side of the stumps, and it was the captain of Australia doing the fielding. Hafiz goes to 40 off 41. How has he got to 40 off 41? Barely played a shot.
Running. Jay Grover says, not Tiswas again, it's not us, it's a tweeter who tweets in. Yeah. Gary and Neste are incorrigible when it comes to physical comedy. Thinly veiled innuendo and Sally James.
Oh, very thinly veiled. I didn't really get the Sally James stuff, I must say. This ball is just pushed to mid-on, and there is no run. I've never liked that kind of Susie Quattro double denim look, I have to say.
Short third man says, the other day against the West Indies, Australia started off with 5 wides. Today it was a no ball. There have been 4 wides in the last 4 overs. These extras might prove to be costly.
Yeah, I think actually Pakistan are edged in front now the last few overs. If you have a look at, 182 off 27 overs is, in the modern game, not that tough of a chase. And I know they're 2 wickets down, and as you say, they've got a long tail, but they don't need any stage to go bananas. They can milk their way to winning this game.
Jay Grover says, in my experience, when someone claims it's just common sense, it's a precursor for them talking utter load of shite.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. So Imam, whose innings 47 off 66 looks very old school, but he's doing a job for his country. He's allowing the others to play around him, and cricketers don't come much more shrewd than the professor himself, Mohamed Hafiz, who was brought back into this side, I think. I don't think he played in the ODI series, I may be wrong. But the Nouse is very useful. That's a good ball. Patrick Cummins is back into the attack, and no batsman's getting much on that. Moved away past the left-handed batsman at some pace, and he was a bit lucky, was Imam, not to edge that one, but he lives to fight another day.
I was looking at, I don't know if I said this on air, I don't think I did. England there was a World Cup in England in 1979. England played Australia in the group games. And just to give you some idea of how the game's changed, Australia, in their 60 overs, as it was then, made 159 for 9. And England won it off 47.1 overs.
Cummins is in, and this ball is clipped off the legs by Imam, and they're through for 1. Was that the World Cup when Gary Gilmore got 6 for 14, or was that the 1975?
That was 75 semi-final, I think.
Yeah, Headingley.
159 for 9 off 60. Match at Lords in June 79. It's the game's changed. Boycott bowled 6 overs, 2 for 15.
Yeah, swinging it. The final was on Midsummer's Day, I think, June 21. So that would have been around about this day in 79. Oh no, it was 75. The final was Midsummer Day. I'm not sure when it was in 79. Mohamed Hafiz has got 40. Pakistan 127 for 2. He needs a wicket, does Aaron Finch. That's why he's turned to his big pacer, Patrick Cummins. But this ball is cut, but without any timing by Hafiz. But there's so many spaces for singles now that the Pakistan team can just take them where they fancy them, and he gets one to point.
Lou Britton Sack, our Twiswells man, says, did anyone figure out what the animator was taking on rhubarb and custard? I think acid.
I think the animation, was it Bob Godfrey animations? I think they did quite a lot of animations, but rhubarb and custard was particularly psychedelic. Ooh. Oh, Imam plays a false stroke there. He tried to cut a ball that was too close to him, and he already had a warning from the first ball of the over that Pat Cummins could drop on a length and just cut the ball away from the or seam the ball away from the left-hander. It did go away from him, and he's lucky twice now not to edge it through to the keeper.
The World Cup of 1979, the final was on June the 23rd.
Oh, so not far.
Australia won one game at that tournament. They beat Canada.
Oh. Okay.
Were they a depleted side from Packer?
Yes, they were.
So
Get your
Cummins
excuses in early.
in and plays a better stroke that Imam, because he played with a vertical bat and eyes over the ball, but he didn't get a run for it because it was Maxwell in tight, saving one at point.
Canada were all out for 105 in 33 overs. Who took the wickets for Australia?
Rodney Hogg and Carl Rackerman.
Hurst, 5 for 21.
Alan Hurst?
I
think it was
yes.
Alan Hurst.
2 each for Porter and Cozier. Porter's not a name I remember.
No.
1 for Jeff Dimmock.
Gary Cozier, left arm Jeff Dimmock, as I recall. This ball is punched and punched hard, but Patrick Cummins, he fields it off his own bowling. It's a good over from Pat Cummins. He now has 1 for 20 from his 5, just 2 from that.
And the only Chappell playing in that game was somebody playing for Canada, because it was in the Packer era when Greg Chappell would have been one of the best batsmen in the world in 1979.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which one did the underarm bowl?
Trevor. At Greg's behest.
That's Richie Benno's favourite moment in cricket. We don't have any tweets in at the moment. Keep tweeting us in if you're listening.
If Richie Benno had been working for the ICC Asia, who have the broadcasting rights to this World Cup, he would have been admonished significantly, as Michael Holding was recently. I'm sure you'll find that online, as this ball goes high over the shoulder. 1 for the over called against Nathan Coulter-Nile, and Mohammed Hafiz looked slightly askance at the umpires, wondering if he'd get that as wide. It's not an easy job deciding if the ball is going over the head of the batsman in his normal stance. I actually think that was a wide, but it wasn't given. Let's see it again now. Oh, definitely a wide, absolutely definitely, but not given, so he gets away with one to Nathan Coulter-Nile, and Hafiz all but steered it into the hands of the man at first slip. It would have been swallowed by second slip, but it was a deliberate steer, and Patrick Cummins dived on the boundary and gave us all a sight of some black trunks he's wearing under his canary yellow and green. He was quick to hitch the trousers up before he returned the ball, but certainly 2 there for Mohammed Hafiz.
Do you know what Bill Lawry's commentary was on that Trevor Chappell ball?
Well,
he said, this is possibly a little bit disappointing. He wouldn't have been in trouble with the ICC.
No. And Mohammed Hafiz takes a little bit of the danger out of the stroke by steering it all along the ground to Pat Cummins, third man, who's getting some words of advice from the Pakistan fans behind him.
Khalid CZ says, so guys, what do you think? Pakistan have it in the bag, obviously. Don't know. Many eckies were taken with the rhubarb and custard mix as a soundtrack. Good times, says Jay Grover.
Yeah, his trousers and that...
they came right off, didn't they?
They were down at the knees, virtually.
They were. Imam, 2 short of his 50. Attempts to cut again. He's really got to take that shot out of his game, because he's becoming obsessed with cutting the ball now.
Put it back in the locker, mate.
Yeah, and Coulter-Nile knows that, and so he bowls him that ball. It's short enough to cut, but it's too tight to the stumps, and Imam's going to edge one through to the keeper, and fair play to Aaron Finch, because he's got to slip in for that reason.
Does it remind me a bit of Owen Morgan, who for about 18 months was getting out caught at wide slip off that very delivery?
Yes, you're right. Squatting strangely with every ball. And Imam does take my advice, because he comes down the track and lifts this one bounce over mid-off for one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
So he has a pack of cards. He has 52 from 73. That was a much better option than trying to prop and cock and fiddle the ball through third man. Big open space over mid-off, and he found it. Back ball bounced just about 2 yards inside the sponge. Pakistan go to 135 for 2. And you've got to do that sometimes just to keep the bowler honest. And he gets a ball on leg stump, and he swivel pulls this to the man at square leg, who is that Jay Richardson on for somebody? They haven't got 2 subs on, have they?
Well, they come and they go
pretty
damn quick nowadays. It's hard, even if you're actually at the ground, sitting next to the players' entrance to work out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, it looked a bit like Tommy Fleetwood fielding that. It can't be Tommy Fleetwood.
No, he's in California at Pebble Beach at the moment.
It's been a good week though for golf. Not so much golf as cricket sport crossovers, isn't there? Because
yes, Batty.
Yeah. Do you want to explain?
Nora Batty.
Nora Batty.
Well, she took time off from her tennis career to go and play cricket, didn't she? And
Barty, is it?
Barty, yeah. She quite a successful cricketer.
She was. She played for Australia, I think, and now she's
came back to cricket and won a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
It's tennis. Yeah.
Patrick Cummins is in, and
dear.
this is
The
edged
exit,
through
yes.
to the keeper. Oh
Shocking
dear,
shot.
oh dear. Imam, it was there to be hit. I mean, he would have got a wide if he'd left it alone. But you can't leave those alone. It got high, so we'll give some credit to Patrick Cummins for bending his back. But it was a top edge through to the keeper. Imam has gone for 53. Pakistan 136 for 3.
Nothing's happening.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do,
for 30 in his 10 overs. And, well, that could have gone anywhere from Sarfraz. And
he did a bit of a weird thing there, didn't he?
Well, he's
sort of went one way and stopped.
Well,
It was nowhere near him.
Yeah, it was nowhere near. Yeah. Sarfraz has got no kind of timing or balance. Everything looks off about Sarfraz. I mean, the bat was almost on the way up by the time it connected with that ball because he was so early on it. But he's got 2 now from 4 deliveries.
I think you were right that they brought back Cummins because they wanted to take a wicket. But now that they've taken the wicket, they probably have to go back to the 4th and 5th bowlers because Richardson and Maxwell have only bowled 4 each. And they do need to get through some of those overs at a time when it's least dangerous for them.
Is it Jai Richardson, by the way?
No, it's Kane Richardson.
Kane Richardson. This ball is swept because Aaron Finch is coming on to bowl. Well, that's a surprise, but not a surprise that Sarfraz has swept into the boundary for 4.
My name is Lakhan.
So it is Kane Richardson who's playing, because I think Jai Richardson's out of the tournament.
He's injured, yes. England don't seem to have a trouble finding a 6th bowler, which they did for many years, and some of the other teams are struggling to get 5, never mind 6.
Yeah.
Which is probably why Finch is bowling and hasn't started very well.
Yeah. Well, Finch beats the bat of Sarfraz there, and Alex Carey behind the stumps juggled the ball. Eventually he got the bails off. There's a half-hearted appeal because I don't think Sarfraz's foot ever left the crease.
That went between bat and leg stump. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, it did leave the crease. So that is a missed stumping.
He didn't snaffle it, did he? Look.
Yeah, the foot goes down. He had overbalanced, had Sarfraz, and it's a pretty scrappy bit of wicket-keeping there because he saw it go all the way, and Sarfraz was so far forward that it went past him quite a long way as well. And this ball is just touched to fine leg, where I think Nathan Lyon does the fielding, and they're through for 1. Yeah, you see there.
Yeah, look, he didn't get hold of it, did he?
Yeah, Alex Carey.
If he takes that cleanly, it's a stumping.
Yeah, but his left foot went so far back. Okay, he's got to get down the leg side, but his left foot was so far away he couldn't get the gloves back anyway.
But it was a slightly unusual situation. In fact, the batsman had gone outside of the ball that was outside leg stump.
Yeah, giving himself more room than he could manage, and gives himself room again and takes a single. Does Sarfraz, I think. Was it Sarfraz or Mohammad Hafiz?
It was Hafiz.
Hafiz. But I do think these wicketkeepers have got to avoid sliding that leg back, because that's what makes the difficulty. That's a horrible long hop from Aaron Finch, and it's carted by Sarfraz, who again has no timing, all the way out to Mitchell Starc, who disdainfully flings the ball back in, and they're through for 1.
I mean, it's a little bit of post-facto justification. I'll break off.
Finch is in. It's a horrible full toss, and Hafiz has lifted it all the way to Mitchell Starc, the tallest man on the field, stationed at cow corner for that very reason. He puts his hands up, he pouches it. That is the softest possible dismissal you could have from such an experienced player. What is he thinking? He literally could have hit that anywhere in the whole county of Somerset.
Oh, you silly little boy. What on earth were you playing at? Oh.
Well, honestly, that was a shocking over with wides, long hops, and then a full toss, which has just been pulled down mid-wicket's throat. Somehow these Australians managed to do these things again and again and again. I was just about to say how this was a terrible over from Finch, and it was a plan which has gone wrong, and then it works.
It was a terrible wicket over.
Well, 7 runs came from it, but I'm not sure what you can do. Pakistan gave away so many runs in the field. Asif Ali dropped 2 absolute sitters. They've then played... they just haven't made the Australian fielders work for the catches. The catch at fine leg was that Babar Azam was caught at fine leg, just lifting a short ball straight down the throat of the fielder, and then there's a full toss. Mohammad Hafiz could have hit it literally anywhere, and Starc did not need to move. He literally didn't move.
Guess what Lanks Action Group have said? The commentators on the World Cup are awful. Turn the sound down and put Guerrilla Cricket on.
Well, some of them are awful, but...
Once again, Australia learns the Guerrilla yeah.
Ah, dear. Well, that is two shocking ways to get out from two set batsmen.
Yep.
You've had Imam getting a glove on a ball which is going to be a wide down the leg side, and then a full toss pulled straight to deep mid wicket.
Patrick Cummins is in, and this ball, again, without any conviction.
All we need is a comedy run out.
Oh,
that was close.
It might have been. He was hit into the offside by Sarfraz, who took off for a single, and you don't really want to take a single to David Warner, even this slightly incapacitated Warner at short extra. He threw the ball at the stumps, but he missed them. And Sarfraz is so deep in his crease when he starts, he's got to run an extra yard anyway.
Oh,
but it was Shoaib Malik who was running to the danger end, to be fair, and he would have been well out, because that was a very half-hearted dive from Shoaib Malik. In fact, he kind of went on his knees and then slid his bat in rather than dived. It was the dive of a man of 37 years of age, put it that way.
Asked and nearly granted.
Yeah, I mean, it was... Shoaib Malik did almost unforgivable thing, is that he was looking at the fielder instead of running, and it's only when he realised that Warner had picked the ball up cleanly, which you've got to expect, really, haven't you, that he sort of ran hard and then put the dive in. But for a while, he was looking at the fielder like he's saying, you're going to miss it. Well, he's not going to miss it.
Excrement extracts the entrenched, says Jeff Perkins.
Yes, one for the bear. He would... agree with you there. Cummins is in again, and this is a Yorker, and it's defended by Shoaib back to Patrick Cummins, and there is no run. So the Australians are now all over Pakistan, and for all of the failings of this Australian team, and they do look the most ordinary Australian ODI outfit, I would suggest, since 1979, they do know how to win, as they say.
A bit harsh. They beat Canada in 1979.
Good Lord, that is something like I do. There can be no worse insult, says Jay Grover.
Cummins in again, and this takes the inside edge. It's a brilliant catch by Alex Carey. Inside edge from a length ball. Shoaib was tied up. He was trying to crab the ball out into the offside, and Carey dived to his left, which is the more difficult way to dive for a keeper. One-handed, he caught the ball. It was a nice height. Australia are going to win.
Roger Melly says it's an age-old adage that is sometimes shit balls produce shit shots.
Yeah, he didn't catch absolutely cleanly, did Carey there. It hit the kind of heel of the hand in the glove, but it
cling
stuck.
on.
He did cling on, and he also cradled the ball as he went down, almost sort of under his chin a little bit, like it was a kind of violin that he was trying to wedge in there.
Well, you should bring it into your body, which is what I've always had the problem with the Australian way of catching the ball. High catches with the palms facing outward, that if you don't get it right, it's going to bounce away from you and into the ground. Whereas the English method, with the hands facing in, if you do not get it, should hit your chest, and you've got another chance to catch
I remember Ricky Ponting taking catches at third slip with his fingers pointing up, almost like a limbo dancer. So he was taking them sort of below knee height. With his fingers pointing up because he bends so low.
It's very difficult slips and wicket keeping though when it's so fast.
No,
it's so fast.
No, it's easy.
No, it's not.
Well,
it's so
the
fast.
score
it's
is
difficult when Hendo's wicket keeping and he gets his knees in the way, but otherwise
I've seen footage.
Well, the score is 147 for 5, and Patrick Cummins is well on his way to emulating Mohammad Amir, because he has 3 for 24, and he beats the bat of Asif Ali, who must be feeling very strange, having given such a extraordinary display in the field with his dropped catches, and is now coming in to bat at number 7, knowing he only has the bowlers behind him. The target now a distant 308. He has a strike rate of 130 in ODI cricket.
Well, if he's coming in down the order, that's maybe sort of par, to be fair.
Sort of,
if you're coming at number 7,
balls.
Joe Grover's saying that some of our friends on Cricket Tracker might want to start praying now.
Yeah, Cummins is in again, and Asif Ali gets the ball to the man at point, who I think is Nathan Lyon, and he returns it to Alex Carey. We're seeing now some of the Pakistan dismissals in this collapse. And they're an inauspicious set of shots, really. I'm not sure we could blame Shoaib because...
that was a good ball. It came back, it sort of cut him in half in the modern parlance.
Yeah, it did.
It was a
come
quick
in
ball.
From Cummins, who is bowling particularly well. And it was a big fat inside edge that Alex Carey did well to get across to. So having missed the stumping, he gets almost immediate redemption. As Cummins is in again, and this is full on off stump, and Asif Ali is happy to punch it down the ground, and they'll get 2 to the captain who slides. Oh, it's Warner who slides and picks up the ball, returns it. So Pakistan 109 for 5. The game very much tilted in their direction. I've got
149.
149 for 5. Yeah, I've got Pakistan about 80% favourites now.
That's a kiss of death
Sorry,
from you.
Australia. Australia 80% favourites.
Nigel
Gary,
Long,
you're right.
Nigel Long gave that decision. I'm not a great fan of umpires having bespoke methods of triggering people. He points at the batsman rather than lifting his finger up. His finger is virtually horizontal, not vertical, as it says in the laws of the game.
Yeah, there's a bit of what did the third man say about our umpires, Morgan Freeman and Billy Hay, look at me, Bowden. So Aaron Finch is continuing. God only knows why, or rather Aaron Finch knows why, because he's the captain. And that's a horrible ball down the leg side that Alex Carey fails to gather. It's a wide and a bye.
2 wides.
Yeah, 2 wides.
2 wides.
But it feels like a wide and a bye.
That was terrible ball and terrible wicket keeping.
Finch left arm around the wicket on the leg stump and touched into the leg side by Asif Ali, and there is no run. I can only presume that Finch just wants to get another couple in here against the new batsman because neither man has faced 10 balls, and he's in again. And this is hit into the leg side, and they'll walk an easy single.
Well, if you
improves
say
the over rate as well, I suppose.
If you say let's have our top bowlers on, and by some fluke or edges or whatever, they get through those spell and they see them off, then you've got Maxwell and Richardson and Finch to bowl out the overs, which you don't want to be in.
You don't want to be in. Yeah. So Finch again, left arm darts, and Sarfraz gives himself so much room that a ball that was well outside leg stump, he's in a position to cut, but the offside is well protected, so I'm not quite sure why he's trying to do that. There is no run. He goes back to this ball, which is so slow it almost didn't reach him, 45 miles an hour, and hits it to Coulter Nile, and they walk the easiest of singles. So bit of this, a bit of that from Aaron Finch, but the main thing he's doing is giving them no pace to work with.
Honestly, is this as good as they can do for a 6th bowler?
Finch is in again. It's on the middle stump, and it's just pushed down the ground. There is no run. But it's only 46 miles an hour, so he's
taking the pace
demanding
off
the batsman make the decisions.
You try that in club cricket, bowling at 45 miles an hour, see how far it gets you.
Yeah, and this ball is hit about 70 yards to Coulter Nile, who's at long on, and they walk a single. Well, for all of that, Aaron Finch has bowled 2 overs and has 1 for 13. He'd have taken that.
Yeah, well, he makes Joe Root look like Jim Laker.
Poet Travert says just Pakistan things. Jay Grover, I showed my Colombian nephew, who knows now about cricket, level rocks and not Fred's catch. He thought Fred's was better.
I don't know how he showed it. It's not been captured by video.
I don't know. What catch was this, Fred?
They talk about it. I keep quiet about these things. I'm not a man to brag.
Dave Shepherd and Dickie Bird both used to point at the batsman, says Roger Melly.
Well, Shepherd couldn't get his arm up very high because there was a lot of things to get round.
Khalid CZ says it's okay. The World Cup final is actually on Saturday when we play our favourite team, India. It's the only one that matters, really.
Down the track comes Sarfraz to the new bowler and touches it round the corner, and they're through for a single. Dickie Bird also used to shout, didn't he? He used to go, out!
Was it Rudy Kurtzen when eventually his arm got up? It also pointed at the batsman, didn't he? It did take a while to get there.
What was that?
That's Billy Bowden.
Yeah, I know, but what was that?
Well, he was claiming arthritis, but really he was just a twat.
He was. What does he do now? Anything?
God knows.
This ball is punched to the man at third man. and they walk a single. It's sort of a punch cut, really. It's not really a cut. It's not really a drive. It's not a deflection either. I'm not quite sure how you describe it.
But
it's
you know,
punch off a full face.
If the laws of the game say what the umpire signals are, and you're the man supposed to be enforcing those laws, and you just don't, you ignore them, then there's something wrong there, isn't there?
I just feel so. Mitchell Stark's got 5 overs left, and they may be crucial, or they may not even be required. This is short from Kane Richardson.
Slower ball,
and it's pulled round to mid wicket, and there is two is taken. I mean, it is a little bit like a famous Graham Gooch quote. It was about New Zealand in the Hadley era. When you've got Stark and Cummins bowling, you've got the World 11, and when you've got the others, it looks a little bit like Ilford Seconds. Pakistan have got an 11% chance of winning this match, according to the win predictor, and that ball is short. It's under-edged through to the keeper, and there is no run.
My brain's gone. Who's the West Indian umpire who just goes? Steve Buckner.
No, Steve Buckner took a while.
Yeah,
he takes a while, but he just.
Well, he used to just put the finger straight up, wasn't he? Morgan Freeman, or Steve Buckner, as he's calling himself these days, as the 12th man said. The ground staff gathering in likelihood of rain. I'm not sure. This ball is turned onto the leg side by Kane Richardson and Patrick Cummins Fields.
It was forecast for the afternoon yesterday, but then when I looked this morning, it had gone. So
they've got the super supper out. So, one ball left in the 29th over. Pakistan are 160 for 5. We're about to have a change in the commentary box. I'm not sure when I'm next back on Guerrilla Cricket, but it might be for the semi-finals, or it might be before. As this ball is edged through to the keeper. Well, he's bowling at 83 miles an hour, is Kane Richardson. It was a short ball, and somehow Asif Ali managed to glove it through to the keeper. It got high, it didn't get that high, and that is a somewhat inauspicious match for Asif Ali. He's out for 5 of 8 deliveries. This is going to go quite quickly, I think. It was a leg cutter, to be fair, but terrible stroke.
After you've gone.
Let's have a little change of commentary music, and some people will come in.
The best things in life are free. Just like Guerrilla Commentary, we need money. That's what I want.
Let's have a little change of commentary music, and some people will come in.
We need money. The best things in life are free.
48